Hello everyone. In this video, we will take an insight into analog electronics subject. Before starting this subject, we will first recall all the previous semester knowledge that you have gained in semester 1 subject ECP and in semester 2 subject ECA. And then we will try to link that content to know why and what you will be learning in analog electronics subject. In semester 1 subject ECP, you have learned a device named BJT, commonly called transistor. As you have studied, BJT is a 3-terminal, 3-layer, 2-junction semiconducting device. 3 terminals are named as emitter, base and collector. You have studied NPN and PNP, both types. We will be talking about NPN type of transistor. Okay. Now let's talk about two-port network. A network containing 2 ports is called two-port network, where port is a pair of terminals. So in this diagram, we are having port 1 and port 2. So a two-port network will be having total of 4 terminals. But as we know, BJT is having 3 terminals only. So we need to use 1 out of 3 terminals of BJT as a common terminal between input and output, which results in 3 configurations of BJT amplifier named common base, common emitter and common collector. In common base configuration, we are having base terminal as common between input and output, whereas in common emitter configuration, we are having emitter as common terminal, and in common collector configuration, we are having collector as common terminal between input and output. Now, comparing various amplifier parameters like current gain, voltage gain, input resistance and output resistance, we have concluded that common emitter configuration is best amongst all 3. In semester 2 subject ECA, you have studied common emitter amplifier circuit. Now, for the analysis of output, we can use either mathematical analysis techniques or graphical analysis technique called load line. Now, this DC biasing is used to set the Q point in the center of active region for linear amplification. As you can see here, as far as the input signal range is inside the active region, we will get linear amplification. Now, let's talk about the problems with this amplifier circuit. To start with, let's first look at the output current equation. Here, ICO is the reverse saturation current, which is dependent on temperature. With the change in temperature, ICO will change. Now, this IB is the base current, which is dependent on base emitter voltage VBE. But this VBE is dependent on temperature. So with the change in temperature, VBE will change, which in turn will change base current IB. This change in ICO and IB because of the change in temperature will change the collector current IC, as you can examine from this equation. This change in IC will cause a change in position of Q point. So now let's examine the effect of drift in Q point position on the output signal. As you can see, if the Q point drifts from the center because of change in temperature, there is a possibility of output cycle getting clipped. If the Q point lies in the lower half of load line, as you can see here, then there is a possibility of negative cycle getting clipped. Likewise, if the Q point lies in upper half of the load line, there is a possibility of positive cycle getting clipped. This phenomenon is called distortion. Now, to reduce the effect of change in Q point position with the change in temperature, we can use a type of biasing circuit called voltage divider biasing. As you can see in this circuit, there are some other circuit elements connected with BJT to form an amplifier. Each component in this circuit has some significance. So let's recall it quickly. Here R1, R2, RC and RE forms a voltage divider bias circuit which is used to keep Q point in the center of active region on the load line for linear amplification. Coupling capacitors C1 and C2 are used to block the DC passing towards source and load so as not to affect the biasing conditions. Here, bypass capacitor CE is used to nullify the effect of RE resistor in reducing overall circuit gain. Now, with the change in temperature, collector current IC will change, which in turn change the voltage drop across this RE resistor. This change in voltage across RE will change the base current IB, which will compensate for the change in collector current IC. Even with the correct biasing voltage set, it is still possible for the output waveform to become distorted due to a large input signal being amplified by circuit gain. As you can see here, the Q point is in the center of load line, but because the input signal is very large, there is still possibility of output getting clipped in both the cycles, positive as well as negative. Okay. In addition to this, distortion still may occur because of the nonlinear characteristics of transistor. As we all know, transistor is a nonlinear device, so the amplification provided by it will be of nonlinear in nature, as you can see in this diagram. This phenomenon is called distortion, and this is the first limitation of BJT amplifier. So this was all about previous semester knowledge that you have acquired. This amplifier circuit is having many other limitations. So let's talk about those problems and start proceeding towards your current semester subject, analog electronics. As we know, BJT is a semiconducting device. We also know that semiconductor is having a negative temperature coefficient, which means that its resistivity changes with the change in temperature. This will cause a continuous minute variation in bias current, which in turn will affect the output signal. This undesired, or you can say unwanted, minute variations in output signal is called noise. In addition to this, all these resistors used in amplifier circuit will have tolerance to temperature. So with the change in temperature, resistor value will change. This minute variation in resistor value changes the biasing current as well, which will in turn affect the output signal. Now, as this noise was due to variation in temperature, it is termed as thermal noise. You will study more about thermal noise in semester 3 subject PEC. So, the output signal will have noise along with the amplified version of input signal, as you can see in this diagram. This is the second limitation of BJT amplifier. Please don't get confused between distortion and noise. Both are different. Distortion is a change of the original signal, which means clipping of positive or negative or both the cycles. Whereas noise is an external random signal added to the original signal. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's move on to the next problem. This is the frequency response of single stage CE amplifier. The amplifier should deliver a constant and acceptable level of gain in the frequency range that it has been designed for. But as you can notice from this frequency response diagram, the gain is not constant. It is having a roll-off near low and high frequency region. In the low frequency band, the fall-off in gain is because of the reactances provided by coupling and bypass capacitors. In low frequency range, the reactance provided by coupling and bypass capacitor will be high, which will cause more voltage drop across them. That results in a low voltage gain. In the high frequency band, the fall in gain is because of the internal parasitic capacitances and lead inductance. This reactance effects limits the band of frequencies called bandwidth, for which we get constant gain. This is the limitation of BJT amplifier. Now let's move on to the next problem, that is gain instability. Amplifier gain does not remain constant, but it depends on main three things. First is temperature variations. As we have discussed earlier, transistor being a semiconducting device has a negative temperature coefficient. So with the change in temperature, output current IC will also change. Because beta is highly dependent on collector current IC, it is found that the gain of transistor starts decreasing at larger values of collector current due to high level of injection occurring in base, which is called conductivity modulation. You must have studied that in ECA subject in semester 2. The second factor is frequency of operation. The frequency of operation will have a marked effect on the value of gain. It is found that if the frequency rises, then the gain starts reducing because of the internal parasitic capacitors and lead inductance. The third factor is manufacturing aspects like the width of base region, the doping concentration of base and emitter region. As a result of the tolerances in manufacturing processes, the current gain of bipolar transistors will vary. Though small change due to manufacturing tolerance, but it is of considerable amount. In short, the gain of a transistor amplifier does not remain stable, but it varies widely with the changes in temperature and frequency. So this is the limitation of BJT amplifier. So far we have talked about 4 major problems with amplifier circuit. First was distortion in output. Second was high noise in output. Third was reduced bandwidth. And the fourth problem was gain instability. In addition to these limitations, there are 2 more disadvantages regarding input and output resistance. To know what is it, we will first examine the amplifier equivalent circuit. This is a simple 2-port equivalent circuit of an amplifier. The input resistance offered by the amplifier circuit is represented by Rin. Output will be equal to gain A times the input voltage, which is in series with Rout. Here Rout is the output resistance offered by amplifier circuit. As our motive of building an amplifier circuit is to increase the output voltage. Now looking at the equivalent circuit, we can write the output voltage equation using Kirchhoff's voltage law. As this is a closed path, if we consider this as applied voltage, then there will be two voltage drops occurring here, one across Rout and one across RL. So the voltage available at RL will be equal to this voltage minus the voltage drop across Rout, which will be equal to AV in minus voltage across Rout. Applying Ohm's law here to find voltage across this resistor, it will be equal to I into R, that is I out into R out. Okay. If you look at this equation, you will notice that V out will increase with the decrease in R out. Okay. For R out equals to 0, we can have maximum output, which will be equal to A into V in. Hence, practically it is advised to have R out as low as possible, ideally 0. You may notice one more thing from this equation, that output voltage will also increase if we increase this voltage V in. This V in is the voltage drop across R in resistor. So if we increase R in, then the voltage drop across it, which is V in, will also increase, which will in turn increase the output voltage. Hence, practically it is advised to have R in as high as possible, ideally infinite. So ultimately R in should be infinite and R out should be 0 ideally. Now let's find out the practical values of R in and R out. Generally, AC analysis is used to determine various amplifier parameters like voltage gain, current gain, input resistance and output resistance. Consider this CE amplifier circuit. Now, to carry out AC analysis, we replace DC source with ground. So in this circuit, if we replace this VCC with ground for AC analysis, then it will look something like this. If you observe, if you connect this terminal to ground, then R1 will come in parallel with R2 and RC will come in parallel with load resistor you will be connecting across these two terminals. C1, C2 and CE will offer nearly zero impedance to AC signal. So considering them a short circuit for AC analysis. Now we will consider this much portion to determine the input resistance. Here, as you can see, the input resistance will be equal to R1 parallel R2 parallel beta RE. Here RE is a small internal emitter resistance of transistor. The reflected resistance at base will be equal to beta times RE, as you can see in this equation. Now all these resistors are comparatively small, and as they are connected in parallel with each other, the equivalent parallel resistance will be quite small, which is not desired, because ideally the input resistance should be as high as infinite, as discussed earlier. So low input resistance is the limitation of BJT amplifier. Now we will consider this much portion to determine output resistance. As you can see here, the output resistance will be equal to RC parallel RL. As RC and RL are comparatively large, the equivalent resistance will be quite large, which is not desired, because ideally output resistance should be as low as 0, as discussed earlier. So high output resistance is the limitation of BJT amplifier. Adding these two limitations to the other limitations we have mentioned earlier, let's make a list of major limitations of this amplifier circuit. The first one is distortion in output. Second is high noise in output. Third is reduced bandwidth. Fourth is gain instability. Fifth is low input resistance and high output resistance. Now, for these limitations of BJT amplifier circuit, there are three possible solutions. First is using negative feedback. Second is using field effect transistor. And third is using differential amplifier. We will study negative feedback in chapter 1, field effect transistor in chapter 4, and differential amplifier op-amp IC 741 in chapter 5 of this analog electronics subject. Apart from these three topics, there are three more topics we will see in analog electronics. First is oscillator, which will be in chapter 2. Second is power amplifier in chapter 3, and timer IC 555 in chapter 5. This is all about the topics you will be studying in analog electronics subject. After acquiring knowledge about these three topics, you will be asked to prepare three mini projects. First, a circuit that generates sine wave of given frequency, which you will study in chapter 2, oscillator. Second, a circuit which takes music input from your mobile via 3.5 mm jack and play that music on a loudspeaker, which you will study in chapter 3, power amplifier. And third, a circuit which blinks LED for given amount of time, which you will study in chapter 5, timer IC 555. You will have to submit all these three mini projects at the end of this semester. So in summary, we have built an amplifier circuit in SEM 2 subject ECA, but that circuit is having many limitations as discussed. Analog electronics subject will try to provide you the solutions to improve the performance of an amplifier circuit. I hope you understood the things I have tried to explain in this video. In case of any query, feel free to comment below. I will try to resolve it as soon as possible. Thank you.